Good day, my name is Dave Glover. Today we'll be walking through how to set up Windows Collection in Security Analytics. Now there are two pieces involved in setting up Windows Collection. First, we need to configure the WinRM services on the host, as well as assign the proper permissions for the user account that you would like to use. This does not have to be a domain admin account. This can be a regular service account, and then once we assign the permissions, that user account will be able to access the app system and security logs. Once we get the host set up, then we go in and configure the collection within Security Analytics. So let's go over to the host first. Now there is a document on SecureCare Online on how to set up the host and make all the appropriate changes. However, we can shortcut that by the use of two scripts. You'll see those here. One is a user add script, and then one is the RSA Envision Win event script. So if we open up the user add script, we'll see that there's a couple of pieces of information that I need to put in. Now in my user case, my user account is RSA log and my domain is DS networking. What we do is we fill in the domain into comp name, and then we fill in the user account into the name field, in this case RSA log. And that is all we need to do for the user add script. What we can do is we can then go ahead and run that. So in my case, I've opened up a command window. I'm running this as administrator. So if we just type in user add, that script will then prompt you, and then we'll go run. Now what that script has done is it's assigned all the proper permissions for reading the event log, in this case for my user account RSA log. The second thing that we want to do is we want to run the RSA Envision Win event config script. We need to append on one additional piece of information. We need to type in HTTP. What this will do is this will then go through and configure and set up the WinRM listener and make sure that the service is running, make sure that the firewall rules are set, and then add in a few more pieces of information for negotiate, basic, and a few different types of authentication. So we can see here read access from the security log has been configured. Event source has been configured over HTTP. Now that is it. We are done on the Windows side. So now let's go ahead and go back to our Security Analytics screen. We need to go into the services. Once we're here, we want to go on to configuration of the log collector or virtual log collector depending upon your environment. Now that the config page has come on, we'll click on to event sources. And then from here, we want to select Windows. If we immediately go to adding a source under event categories, you'll see that the basic is already chosen. We do not want to use basic authentication. Although basic authentication will work in most cases, what happens is it sends the username and password in clear text to all of the Windows servers. What we want to use instead is negotiate. Negotiate has the log collector go to a domain controller, receive a Kerberos token, and then from there we can collect on the other Windows machines. So let's back up for just a moment. We want to go over here to Kerberos realm configuration. We want to add a new realm. Again, remember my domain was dsnetworking.com. Now there are some caveats with the realm name. They have to be all in capitals. Now for the KDC host name, this is the domain controller. In my case, that is EX-2008. What you don't want to do is to do a fully qualified domain name here. It causes issues with the Kerberos realm. So all we really need is the host name here. Now you need to make sure that the log collector is configured as a DNS client for the corporate DNS server, or else it will not know how to find this realm and KDC host. This is all we need to fill in for the Kerberos domain realm information. Again, realm name all in capitals, and then the KDC host name. This could be any domain controller within the domain. So let's go ahead and save that. Now we are done on the realm. So let's go back into the configuration. Now we can add in our domain. I like to put in the domain name so I know exactly which one is related to which collection. We want to change this to negotiate. Now for the channels, you can leave this blank. However, there has been, we have noticed that there are issues with some Windows collection when this is left blank. So what we need to do here is fill out security /4661, and I'll explain that in a moment. System application. What we are doing here is we are excluding the 4661 message. The challenge is this message becomes corrupt within Windows before it gets handed off to the WinRM service. What happens is, since this message is corrupt within the package of all the logs that we're retrieving, we will then see the corrupt message, assume the package is corrupt, and then throw the whole entire package away. So it's very, very important for the time being to exclude 4661. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add in the user account at the domain name. Now the @ domain name is the Kerberos realm. You cannot simply put in RSA log. I need the full RSA log at dsnetworking.com. And then from here, we'll type in the password. What we also want to do, this is my personal preference, is we want to change the max events per cycle to 0, which means collect everything that's available, and the polling interval to 60. You could go higher, you could go lower, but this is a pretty standardized number that I like to use. So from here we then click OK. Now we can go click on the event category of DS Networking and add in my host. So in this case, it's 192.168.30.11. From here, I can then hit the test connection. And you can see based upon the test connection that this test was successful. In versions prior to 10.4 patch 2, the Windows service was required to be running when you hit the test connection. If you did not have the service running, you may end up with errors such as an error 401 unauthorized. So if you do go at that, just make sure that your service is running. However, in version 10.4 patch 2, it does not matter whether the service is running or not, although that service should be running. So we go ahead and click OK here. And now we are collecting logs, and we have validated that we can in fact communicate with that Windows host. I hope that was useful for you, and thank you.